So the Wayans family, if you don't know who they are, there's a lot of them. I know them originally from In Living Color. Back in the mid 80s and 90s, the Wayans were, a hit on that show alongside Jim Carrey and a host of other actors and actresses. I love watching that show. But this video is not about that. It's about the interview that Unc Shannon Sharpe had on his podcast, Club Shay Shay, with Damon Wayans. Now, Damon is, I believe he's the oldest brother of Marlon, and I can't think of the other guy's name. But nevertheless, Damon Wayans stopped by Club Shay Shay's podcast, and he talked about a host of things from him and his brothers and sisters growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. And I believe he stated that his father had no form of religion, but he talked about Jehovah and God and what that means to him and the peace and solace that he now has, despite, him not doing a lot of work because he doesn't have to. So I want to, spend a few minutes reacting to this video that Unc had with Damon, and I want you guys to give me your opinions and thoughts on this in the comments below. Again, I believe this interview is like 2 hours. Of course, I'm not going to play the entire video. I'm only watching snippets of specifically Damon talking about God. So again, let's dive into it.
Your family was raised Jehovah Witness, and there are a lot of the Jacksons, Prince, Biggie, Terrence Howard, Ja Rule, Naomi Campbell. What is? Explain to me, because I don't really hold. All I know is that we closed the door in a lot of them faces.
Yes.
Because when they come right out,
I was one of them faces. Yeah.
So what do you think your mom and dad was drawn to about this religion?
Well, my dad was drawn to it. My mother was not.
Okay.
My dad just knew it was the truth.
Okay.
And so the kingdom we pray for, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. What is the name? It's not God. It's Jehovah.
Right.
Let your kingdom come. What is that kingdom? Who's the king?
Right.
Jesus.
Right.
Let your will be done. What's the will? As it is in heaven on earth. That's the will. Is that we live in unity and be God. So man has plans. God has a purpose. So, I believe that. And you look at, all you got to do is read the news and then read 2 Timothy 3:1-5. And you see it's what it says, how people will be in these days. Critical times, hard to deal with. Lovers of money, self-assuming, haughty, blasphemous, having a form of godly devotion, proving false to his power. This is where we are today.
Right. Are you still a practicing Jehovah?
Yes. Yes, and I love it. I think the greatest feeling you'll have is to be at peace with God and peace with man, because that puts you at peace with yourself. Because my prayers aren't, God, forgive me. No, thank you. Thank you for my family. Thank you for this journey. It's nothing but like gratitude, because I ain't living a life that I got to apologize for. There was a time I was wild. Couldn't even pray. God, never mind. You don't want to hear this.
Do Jehovah Witness, do they celebrate holidays? Do they celebrate things? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, were birthdays big in your family?
No, my mother celebrated everything. My mother would celebrate Christmas, birthdays,
But how did that work? He does and she does. I mean,
my father was just going around.
Are you serious, Dad?
Yeah, my mother would save money up all year to get us something. And one of the greatest Christmases we ever had was my father took the money and tried to open a business that she was saving. So we didn't have no Christmas. My mother sat us down. Ain't gonna be no Christmas this year, y'all. Like, what? No Christmas? That asshole in the room. And she would just told us what happened. My father wanted to have a business, right? And so we decided that we're going to write Santa Claus a letter.
Uh-oh.
And all of us wrote Santa Claus a letter. And then we mailed it off to the North Pole. Nothing. Nothing. Till Christmas morning. A U-Haul truck pulls up to our house. Bikes, all kinds of toys. It was just like, wow. That felt like Christmas.
Wow.
And then the next year, we tried to do it again, and they seriously was on this. Stop, niggas! No, tell your daddy.
Now,
But it's okay because we, most of the stuff is, based in paganism. I said on toast because that's it's an old Greek pagan thing where they clink it and
Right.
you go and chase the demons away.
okay.
Well, if they hear from when I'm drinking,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like people don't know what they do. They're celebrating stuff they don't know.
Right.
Easter.
Just tradition that's been handed down, and you.
Right. It's once with knowledge comes power.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Once you know that Jesus' death is more important than his birth. Right.
Right.
Christmas, that's something that corporate America figured out how to get
Make
rid
some
of
money.
all the inventory at the end of the year. Let's clean this out. We'll have a sale. Call it Christmas.
Right.
Because Jesus didn't celebrate his own birthday. Don't you think he would throw a party if it was important?
Right. Yeah.
Change everything to wine. Everything's wine.
True.
Right. So it's like once you know, then it makes it easier to go, oh, okay, I get why I don't celebrate this.
You mentioned something earlier about a few.
I never talked about my mother.
You didn't.
And what she, because I poke jokes, right? But you asked, what did she give us? Love. My mother was the heartbeat of this family.
That's what Marlon said.
And taught us how to love and how to, even though she sometimes didn't practice what she preached, but how to get past grudges. That's your brother. That is your sister. You love them. They're going for the rest of your life. They're going to be your brother and sister. That's what my mother gave us, love.
Did your mom ever discipline y'all?
Yeah, my mom would do this thing. Was like, come here, let me slap your face. She wouldn't even chase you. Come here, let me say, you be doing this.
No, I think I stay over here.
And then the trick was she'd get you like this and then bam.
Okay.
Right? And then they say, yeah, go off and write them. So you start writing. Tuesday, you write into Tuesday morning, and then we do the table read with all the collection of sketches you read. Probably
That's on a Wednesday.
45 sketches, like on I forget if it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
And then you start rehearsing.
Okay.
You start picking the sketches, and then you start rehearsing Friday, and then till Saturday.
And you're writing sketches kind of like what's funny in today's what's funny today, because I remember I saw that when I had the Cat Williams, they ended up doing a spoof of Cat. So you guys are writing things or try to like what's happening in the real world and make them funny.
I was writing character-driven stuff. I wasn't writing because here's the problem when you do kind of social, political stuff.
Yeah.
There are no good Nixon jokes.
Right.
Right? It's dated. You date yourself because events happen and then something else happens.
Right.
And then people forget, oh, what was that?
Right.
So when you do characters, cheeseburger is always going to be funny.
He can have a real
James Brown, all the stuff Eddie did, pump you up. There's a bunch of catchphrases that are in the the zygote because of character-driven comedy. That's what people relate to.
Right. Let me ask you this: you say you lasted half a season, but you was fired after one season.
I did. I got fired after in the middle of the season.
Are you the only one that's ever happened to? Has anybody that you know of?
I got fired live. I didn't even make the good nights.
Damn! They didn't let the curtain come down.
I didn't say good night. He said, "Get the hell out of here."
Who told you that?
Lauren Michaels. He was red in the face. John Belushi never did this to me. I did more than that. I said, "Get me out of here." Everything I did was to go. But see, God has plans.
Right.
Right? So In Living Color was my vindication.
Did you know, hold on, you said you did everything you could to get fired. Did you know Keenan was in the process of doing it?
No, because this was in 86 and Living Color wasn't until 1990.
Yeah.
Right? So I was so angry when I was there. I was walking around, I had these shades on, like black, like I guess they're Ray-Bans. And they go, "Why are you wearing glasses?" It's too white in here. It hurts my eyes.
Damn. What you thought they were?
I didn't want, well, you know, you get shot down. The thing is, like, now, I was young.
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't understand producing a show.
You was
All I
militant,
knew
huh?
was, very, because I felt like, you know, they were trying to Garrett Morris me.
Okay.
And Garrett Morris is a wonderful. Yeah, because, you know, I'm not speaking on Jada, I'm talking about in general.
Mm-hmm.
Only God should be famous. And you see how he do it? He stay invisible because he know people stupid. You know, because it's a psychological, this guys are all messed up and they out there partying and it's never enough. Because it's not what, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve to have a threesome. Go back to the ghetto where you came from.
Get you one.
Get, and then you deserve it. Ain't never happened. And the thing is, when you look yourself in the mirror, you know you got to put on these airs and pretend that you deserve it because you don't.
Wow. I'm looking at some of the people that was on In Living Color. You became even bigger. David Allen Greer, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey. And I had Marlon, and Marlon said
J-Lo.
That what you call it?
J-Lo.
J-Lo.
Yeah.
And he said he knew. Did you know Jim Carrey was going to be that?
Yeah, I'm the one that brought Jim to Kenan. So me and Jim used to be in the comedy clubs. Jim Carrey is a master impressionist.
Yes.
Like he does like Sean Penn.
Yeah.
Like weird, like Michael Landon. Like he would get standing ovations in a comedy club doing a 20-minute set. Now, any comedian will tell you that's damn near impossible. There's few and far between that can do that. That's how good he was. But he hated somebody else who, I love Orlando. We had a great time on Major Payne, and, you know, there were times, but, you know, sometimes guy got to talk to you.
Right.
You know, and I don't know who's around him. I don't know. We don't have that kind of relationship.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I love him. I want what's best for him. But, you know, he need somebody, hey, come here, youngin', let's talk. You know, and I don't feel, one, I don't know, I don't have his information.
No.
The other thing is,
y'all don't have that type of relationship.
you know, and you don't want to get rejected.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't know when somebody starts talking crazy, you don't know what they'll do. It's not what he'll say.
Right.
It's what he'll do.
Right.
If I tried to reach out to him, you know what I mean? So I just hope, you know, that, you know, he finds peace, because he definitely is not in a good place right now.
As being a top...
I feel bad for people today because it's so dangerous. The drugs they're doing could kill you.
Yeah.
If you told me this could kill you, I wouldn't do it.
Right. Because you don't know what you get. Now they lacing it with everything. And what have you learned about money?
Money you see is money you spend. And people always want to spend your money when they see you.
True.
And the thing is, for me, money is a tool, right? And I'm grateful to have some tools, you know, and to be able to help people when I can.
Yes.
But right now, I don't need nothing. I have everything I want in life, you know, and really that's my peace with God and peace with man.
Right.
And then, you know, I got my music. I'm a vinyl freak. I love vinyl music.
So you got a bunch of old 45s, huh?
No, the albums. I don't have 45s. Yeah, I have the albums. I have some 45s, but for disc, I used to DJ. I've always DJed.
Okay.
And I've always had two turntables my whole life.
Right.
Since I was like 13 years old.
You said money is what did you use? Tool. Because people look at money as different ways. Me, I look at money. It's not so much money. I like freedom. Freedom is what money provides. So, and I think there are different things. I mean, because if I could have freedom and still be what I am, still not have to worry about anything, because that's what, you want to get to a place like we were just talking about the 40 billion. See, you get 40 billion, you can say, F you. I don't care. I don't want to do nothing. Well, I don't like you. Well, I've been wanting to say this for the longest time.
Yeah, but you got, we live in a etch-a-sketch society where you're no longer free. So you can't rely on your money.
Okay.
Because you don't know what's going to be written on the next etch-a-sketch.
Right.
Right? So you can't, I feel like I can't think about my money.
Right.
In terms of my freedom. My freedom is, what God gave me. My ability to create, my ability to love, my ability to be disciplined and to take care of myself and those I love. Right.
There was a viral clip. You did a stand-up special and say you were talking about blacks making millions then and asked if there's still racism in America. And can you believe that video? But you do realize people think once a black person get millions, hundreds of millions, that racism has dissipated. Which Damon, if you made $100 million, you worth $200 million, how's there racism?
Right. Well, what happens is the more money you make, the less black people you see. Right? Money brings you into a new category. You move to a different house in a different neighborhood, and you get different your money people that come around you to help you make the money and maintain your money and make more money. The complexion changes. You know what I mean?
I like
that's what I love about like LeBron. He's got his home. He got
Mav and he got Randy and he got Rich.
Yeah.
So he kept that group.
Yes.
Around him.
Yeah.
But unless you have that group, because like you say, the higher you climb, the less you're going to see. And you're like, okay, well, they don't treat me that way, so it's gone.
And it's divide and conquer, At a certain point, they sit you down, Beyonce's father. All right, we got her from here. The Jacksons. All right, Joe.
We got it.
We got her from here. You sit back and go, what? Venus and Serena, we got them. But and if you want them to be successful, you have to kind of let it happen, and then they hit new heights. But you become a liability. You know what I mean? As the parent, well, where were you those nights in the rain when we were hitting balls?
Yeah. Let me ask you this: when you're on top of the world, and you still are. I mean, you live a great, like you say, you live a great life. You don't overly concerned about money. You have a family. You can still feed your family. You got grandkids. But when you're at that apex in the 90s, what was that like?
It was a pain in the ass.
Really?
Yeah. Like being famous is like being a beautiful woman on a period.
Okay, you'd explain.
Nobody know the cramps and stuff that you
What's going
feel.
on?
Yeah, they see the external beauty and they think you should be happy, and it's like, I'm bleeding.
Right.
Okay, you want to know? I'm bleeding.
So what was? We see this external. We see Damon, and then everything's like, man, major pain and more money and yada and yada. What was brewing inside that we couldn't see?
Club foot. My foot, I'm always in pain.
Really?
Oh, constant pain, yeah. It's like a throbbing pain, so, but you get used to it.
They can't do anything for it? They can't give you like medication or shoot it up or something?
No, I don't want medication. It's a reminder to be grateful. This foot took me a long way. If I didn't have this pain, I wouldn't have this edge. I wouldn't have my perspective on life. I wouldn't have that fire on my tongue, right? So I'm grateful, but people can't see that.
Right.
People can't see that you are, the internal conflicts you have, with family and friends and people, that you tend to lose friends because you loan them money and then they don't pay you back, and then they get mad at you.
Because you asked for it back.
Yeah.
But
not even for asking for it, just because you look at them. Yeah. I'm going to pay you, man. I just see nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why is it like that? Why I mean, if you come to me and ask me for money, I shouldn't have to go to you to repay it. You should be man enough. You was man enough to ask. Here you go. But I've learned, Damon, I don't know what you think about this. I'll only lend money that I know I can lose that I'm not getting back.
Right. It's a gift.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. I give it.
Because I already know, because we're going to end up falling out. And I don't want to fall out. I don't want a 10, 15, 20, 30-year relationship to end over money. So here you go. Because I know you're not going to pay me back.
Right. Well, that's maturity.
Yeah.
It's like, I've paid a lot of people out of my life.
You mentioned like stand-up is stand-up therapeutic for you?
Absolutely.
Why'd you stop?
I used to have to because I don't need it anymore. And
You don't need therapy no more?
no. No, I'm at peace. I really am. I'm at peace. And, the therapy is knowing that I can bow my head and, that God is hearing my prayers and seeing in my life my prayers answered. And it ain't for material things. It's for the safety of my family and, for me to have wisdom and to be grateful for everything.
It's therapeutic. You don't need to scratch that itch anymore. So now what do you do to replace what you gave up by doing comedy?
I write.
Okay.
I write for sport. My dad thing, and there's no turning back, right? And you don't know what's going to happen when you go out underneath. But here's how faith works. So I say my prayer and I ask God what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to do it. No blood. Not only was it successful, but the number one doctor in the world to perform this surgery did my surgery. When you put God first, good things happen.
Wow.
But I remember being in the hospital afterwards, and that recovery sleep is amazing.
Bad, isn't it?
Amazing.
They just don't let you get long enough. They up there shaking you, waking up, Mr. Sharp. Leave me alone. I ain't slept in 3 days.
But all family. I have a wonderful God. I have so many blessings that I'm the anger that I used to have when I was young. I no longer have, because I just know that God has His hand on me and my family.
Right.
He's protected us for years and years.
Right.
And I know not everybody with the last name Wayans,
Right.
is good or tries to be good. But what we do have is others that will correct you. And we ain't shy about going, hey, you're acting a fool.
Wow. Like that.
You get checked. And so for that reason, I truly appreciate my family and this wonderful journey that I'm on. People.
So let me know what you guys think of what Damon Wayans said about God and his relationship with God and the peace that he now has. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you a fan of the Wayans brothers? Are you a fan of Damon if you're a little bit older? They're talented. There's no denying that they are talented. And I just wanted to bring this video to light. If you want to check out the entire video of where Shannon interviewed Damon, please do so. It's on his channel. Shannon has a lot of interesting interviews on his podcast. Some, most of them are secular artists, entertainers, and athletes. But let's just lift up everyone in prayer. And again, let me know what you all think in the comments below. God bless.